Okay, our next video series is on the early battles of World War II, but right now I have a quick little, thing here for you to listen to. So go ahead and listen to this. Whoop, wrong way. Sorry about that.
On June 4th, 1942, Lieutenant Commander James Thatch climbed into his F-4F Wildcat fighter plane. Thatch knew that the Japanese Zero fighter planes were better than his Wildcat. To improve his chances against them, he had developed a new tactic he called the Thatch Weave. At the Battle of Midway, he had his first chance to try it. So we boarded our planes. All of us were highly excited and admittedly nervous. A very short time after, Zero fighters came down on us. I figured there were 20. The air was just like a beehive, and I wasn't sure that anything would work. And then, my weave began to work. I got a good shot at 2 Zeros and burned them. Then Ram, my wingman, radioed, "There's a Zero on my tail." I was really angry then. I was mad because my poor little wingman had never been in combat before, and this Zero was about to chew him to pieces. I probably should have ducked under the Zero, but I lost my temper and decided to keep my fire going into him so he'd pull out. He did, and I just missed him by a few feet. I saw flames coming out of his airplane. This was like playing chicken on the highway with 2 automobiles headed for each other, except we were shooting at each other as well.
All right, nice little story about the Battle of Midway there. All right, so holding the line against Japan. After Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, the commander of the United States Navy in the Pacific, Admiral Chester Nimitz, could do little at first to stop the advancing Japanese in Southeast Asia. Japan attacked American airfields in the Philippines and landed its troops in the islands. The commander of the Americans and Filipinos defending the Philippines was General Douglas MacArthur. He decided to take his badly outnumbered troops and retreat to the Bataan Peninsula. Roosevelt ordered the general to evacuate to Australia. The Allied defenders of Bataan finally surrendered. They didn't evacuate, and thousands died on the Bataan Death March to a Japanese prison camp. In early 1942, B-25 bombers replaced the aircraft carrier's short-range bombers because they could attack from farther away. Lieutenant Colonel James Doolittle was put in command of the mission that bombed Japan on April 18th. Doolittle's attack on Japan made Japanese leaders change their strategy. An attack on Midway Island, the last American base in North Pacific west of Hawaii, was planned to lure the American fleet into battle to be destroyed by the Japanese. This would cut American supply lines to Australia. The plan failed because the United States had a team of code breakers based in Hawaii that broke the Japanese Navy's secret code for conducting operations. Turning point in the war was during the Battle of Midway when Americans shot down 38 Japanese planes and destroyed 4 Japanese carriers. This stopped the Japanese advance into the Pacific. All right, turning back to German Army leader. Soviet Union was Joseph Stalin. He urged Roosevelt to open a second front in Europe. Although Roosevelt wanted his troops to enter into a battle in Europe, Churchill wanted to be more cautious and attack the periphery or the edges of Germany. In July of 1942, Roosevelt ordered the invasion of Morocco and Algeria, French territories indirectly under German control. On November 8, 1942, the American invasion of North Africa began under command of General Dwight D. Eisenhower. Patton led the American forces in Morocco and captured the city of Casablanca. At the Battle of the Kasserine Pass, Americans faced the German army for the first time, and they outmaneuvered and outfought. Americans suffered huge losses during this time. The general in charge was fired, and Patton was put in command. American and British forces finally pushed the Germans back, and on May 13, 1943, German forces in North Africa surrendered. After Germany declared war on the United States, German submarines began sinking American cargo ships along the American East Coast. The situation greatly improved when the U.S. Navy set up a convoy system in which cargo ships traveled in groups and were escorted by Navy warships. The German submarine campaign continued into the spring of 1942. From July on, American shipyards produced more ships than German submarines could sink. All right, so Hitler, he wanted to defeat the Soviets by destroying their economy. So he ordered his army to capture oil fields, industries, and farmlands vital to the Soviet economy. The Germans tried to capture Stalingrad, but the Soviets held their ground in an epic battle. The Germans were surrounded and then surrendered. The Battle of Stalingrad was a turning point in the war because it put the Germans on the defensive then. Okay, that concludes our discussion of the video notes of the early battles. I look forward to seeing you on talking about the home front, and there will be an Edmodo quiz over this. Thank you.